You're no longer on Def Jam.
Right.
You're at Capitol.
Yeah, for my solo stuff.
For your solo stuff right now. So what was the reason for leaving Def Jam, and how are things going at the new label?
It was just time. It was just time.
Right.
You know, I mean, I went into Def Jam being signed to myself. So, and the people that I started out with were no longer there, including Tricky, LA had left. And the reason why I went to Def Jam in the first place was because Jay was there.
Right.
So, you know, and Jay hadn't been there in like 3 years now. So, and even though we still have our relationship, I was kind of like the lone person still there.
Yeah.
Even though we had done all of these great things and that time was kind of over. Yeah. So it was just time to move on. Yeah.
And everything's great.
Oh, always. As long as somebody got my check.
You were also executive VP of A&R at one point at Def Jam. So what do you think about, you know, there's a lot of artists getting A&R titles now with labels. They're picking up people.
Yeah.
No, not digging it. Because for me, it's almost like an A&R is not the same type of A&R that it used to be back in the day. As far as
because
like
they're now the
helping
producers and songwriters. You know, I think we do more developing and developing and with the artists than even the labels could do. Like the labels right now just pick out singles that are by some kid in mid America, and they're going to pick their single up and then put them on the label and put their single out and try to act like they're working it. Other than that, they're not developing the artist, because if they was, it wouldn't be just one hit and you're out. You know, they would be here for the long term, but they're not, because they're not being developed. You know,
that's true.
Yeah, they're kind of just selling out for the sellout.
Does that frustrate you for someone like yourself that's a true artist to see what a lot of these labels are doing by picking up these kids?
Oh, okay. Well, the question being put that way, it frustrates me because I know that those kids don't have a shot at lasting a long time. I know that they're just being cherry picked, you know, for certain things. It's just ridiculous at this point on a lot of levels. So, yeah, that's kind of frustrating that they don't know. You know, it's like this certain amount of time for fame, and then they're done, but their life has changed. They're never going to be the same. They're never going to be able to go back and live the way that they lived for those 8 or 9 months when they had this record that was #1, you know, and that's unfortunate.
Now, there's a lot of crossing over going on. You got a lot more R&B artists that seem to be tougher with the hip-hop, you know, vibe and look going on. And also you have hip-hop artists that are singing on tracks. It's like, you know, the lines are being crossed. What do you think about all that's going on?
Well, number one, I don't think that there's really a line. I think everything started out being aligned with R&B.
Okay.
All of these records are just R&B records, produced a different way. Like, regardless of what you want to say, if it touches you in a certain emotional capacity, it's probably an R&B record.
Right.
Like, the tempo doesn't change whether it's an R&B record or not. You know, it doesn't change whether it's rhythm and blues. Like, it's the blues. That's what you're telling. You're telling the story. All those country records are blues records. Like, and that's what they'll always be to me. So it's not really a line. The line in the block comes from this political aspect that has existed between radio and the labels, and just trying to figure out why is one artist's budget higher for a video than the other. Like, it's just a bunch of BS, you know, at the end of the day. But no, it doesn't bother me in the line. It's just unfortunate that the true, I guess what we would call R&B artists, can't be themselves. They feel like they have to be and do what rap is doing in order to keep up. And because I think along the lines, you know, we at radio kind of got fickle with what was going on with a lot of these one-hit wonders with these rap records that were great, but we didn't understand that with that comes less training and less responsibility in order to even show up to radio stations or do promo or even care about the audience that's listening to them. And so now we're kind of back into that place where we're getting back into the more adult area of things.
Okay.